Hello again everyone, how are you all? Hope you're all well. Thank you for clicking play, and please step away from your keyboard and put down the pitchforks. This is not your normal Commodore versus Spectrum slagging off video. Me, like a lot of people around the world, I am colourblind, and it really does affect how I see these games. I'm more of your red-green colourblind, leaning more towards the greens, so some games are just very difficult for me to see. So we're going to take a look today at some of those games, and the first one we have here is Hero. Now, a lot of people will say that the Spectrum colour palette is very in your face, very clashing in colours. But the way that I'm colourblind is actually very beneficial. As you see this game Hero here, this is a game that I absolutely love. Love it on the Commodore 64, love it on the Spectrum, love it on the Atari. I don't think there's a bad port of Hero. But when I compare the two, I struggle with the Commodore 64 one. Whereas this one, everything is clear, everything is crisp. I can see what I'm doing. And when you're playing a game, if you have to concentrate on the colours and looking for the enemies, you're going to struggle playing the game because you lose that split-second timing that you would get in any normal game. So yeah, Hero, if you don't know this game, you've got to go through all the tunnels, destroying the walls, and save the guy at the end. It's a really simple game. I think it's why it's such a classic, to be honest. But yeah, this is definitely one that when I played it on the Commodore 64, I noticed a very big difference in the style of games. One thing I do struggle with is when I get to the guy here that you're trying to save, I can't see them in the Commodore 64 one, and I'll explain when I get to it. And another thing I struggle with here is you see that flashing light at the side there? That's the lava. That lets me know that the lava's there, not to touch it. So here we are at the Commodore 64 one, and you may be looking at this thinking, well, what's the issue? It looks fine. But to me, everything, especially towards the greens and the browns and the reds, are all mingled into one. And I know they've added texture, which is great, but when there's a jagged edge with two colours where they meet, I find it even harder to see the colours. I'm really struggling here as I'm doing this commentary over it to actually see where the enemies are. It's that quick. And as I said, you lose that split-second timing. I can't see the lava either. It's not flashing. Unless a bomb goes off or it's dark, I can't see that lava. I can't distinguish where it is. And I can't even see the guy at the end there. So yeah, that is one game that I really do struggle with. Now this one here isn't too bad, but I wanted to put it in as an example of sometimes monochrome graphics, especially to someone who is colourblind, is a very beneficial thing to have. Because again, things are just simpler, things are easier to see. I'd like to say, if you want to know what it's like being colourblind, go and play your games and put the contrast and the colour all the way down. Like, not completely, but almost all the way. You'll get an idea of what it's like to be colourblind, but it's not even that. Colours merge together. Colours don't seem to have any defining edges, so having it monochrome is very beneficial. Now, this is Switchblade. Sorry, I forgot to say that. And now I'm playing it on the Commodore 64, and right there, I have to focus for a second. Once you start moving, I couldn't see the spikes there. Enemies seem to pop up from nowhere, especially if they're motionless, are almost invisible to my eyes. And please remember, this is my eyes. This is not saying that the Commodore 64 games are bad games, because they're not. I mean, these games are almost identical apart from the colour palette. The Spectrum's not perfect either, and I will be showing a game at the end of how the Spectrum got it completely wrong and how the Commodore 64 got it right. Now this one here, Le Mans, is... I see a lot of people complaining about this, saying it's really clashing colours. The blue of the car, the yellow of the road, stuff like that. But to me, that's what makes it stand out. The fact that they've kept the road completely clear, just one solid colour, and the car a completely different contrasting colour is great. The lines on the side give you an indication of speed. And the other cars are black. That's it. I can see them coming. I can tell where they are on the track. I can tell which direction they're going to be moving in. So This is a definite one where the colour palette works great for my eyes. May not work great for your eyes, but please remember we all see things in a very different way. Now the Commodore 64 one, and this is where I really do struggle, because even looking at this now, doing the commentary over it, it's hurting my eyes. Those lines in the middle of the track, once they start to flicker, really hurt my eyes and make it hard to see like which direction the cars are that are coming towards me, which way they're going to be turning, and just the colour palette in general is quite difficult for my eyes to see. So yeah, Le Mans is definitely one where I know people don't like the colour palette of the Spectrum, but just remember, some people, that's a godsend, it really is. And we crashed. Now, here's an example of the Commodore 64 getting it right. Now, this is Super Off-Road, and you can see very clearly where the cars are. You can see what they're doing, which direction they're going in, who you're fighting against. This is a great game, and the Commodore 64 got it right. They really did. This is up there, I think, with the Amiga version. Such a good port. And here we have the Spectrum port. Wow, it's bad. That's terrible. I'm just going to leave it at that. Right, I just wanted to make this video to show you it's not just Commodore 64 and Spectrum. There are other reasons why some people would like one over the other. Not just the computer that you had back in the day, or the playground dispute over Commodore 64 or Spectrum. I love the Amstrad CPC as well. So this isn't going to be the last video I do talking about games that are difficult to play when you're colourblind. So if you like what you see here, please like, share, subscribe, and I will catch you next time.